A massive outbreak of the bird flu is rocking Arizona's egg industry. Millions of chickens are dead and many more have to be euthanized at the Hickman Egg Farm in Tonopah. But what happens to the remains of those diseased chickens?
After 12 News' drone showed images of workers digging large trenches near the farm in Tonopah, neighbors questioned if Hickman's intended to bury millions of chickens and if mass graves could contaminate the local drinking water. But getting an answer has not been easy.
12 News journalist Joe Dana has covered Hickman's for many years. And Joe, I think I'd be nervous too if I lived in that area. Is there reason for concern?
They certainly deserve more answers than they're getting. We've been asking what will happen to the chicken carcasses since our cameras recorded those excavators on Monday. Hickman still will not answer questions about steps they are taking, and the state has done a complete 180 about what they say will happen. Hickman's Family Farms, the largest egg producer in the Southwest, hit hard by the avian flu.
It'll take about 2 years to completely repopulate our farms.
Before that process can begin, these buildings have to be disinfected, and millions of chicken carcasses need to be disposed of. The question is how and where. Our 12 News drone spotted excavators digging large trenches Monday just west of the chicken houses in Tonopah, close to Linda and Mike Butler's home.
I'm sorry for the loss of the hens, but I'm sorry for our community because now we're dealing with possible water contamination.
The Butlers bought their home a decade before Hickman's built the industrial farm. They, like other Tonopah residents, rely on private wells, many with groundwater less than 150 feet below the surface. They worry about the effects of millions of decomposing birds.
They just don't seem to care about the things that they could do to our aquifers here. They're precious.
According to the EPA, if not properly managed, mass carcass disposal can pose a serious risk, releasing biological fluids that may seep into groundwater or affect nearby livestock and wildlife.
This is exactly what we were afraid was going to happen.
Some neighbors feel they've been left in the dark about what the process will look like and who's making sure it's done safely.
Where are the agencies? Where is the government coming in and checking what they're doing?
Since we began asking questions Tuesday, Hickman's will not discuss how they will dispose of the birds or the purpose of these trenches. When we finally got a Hickman's rep to communicate with us by text Wednesday night, once we asked specific questions, they told us they were having phone trouble and never responded again. State regulators are sending mixed messages. Late Wednesday, a spokesperson for the Department of Ag said, quote, "We have changed course." And the Department of Environmental Quality told us no chickens will be buried on the property. They'll all go to a landfill. But on Thursday morning, the Department of Ag's position changed, saying all birds in Tonopah will be buried on site.
It needs to be contained. It needs to be dealt with in a better manner than what we're seeing today.
The EPA says composting and landfill disposal are the preferred methods with the least environmental impact. We don't know why Hickman's and the state have concluded burial on site in Tonopah is the best method. Again, they will not answer specific questions except to say that they will follow the law.
Joe, things haven't really been rosy between the Hickmans and the people that live in that area over the years. They've sued Hickmans before over environmental issues. Is this related?
When Hickman's built there about a decade ago, they used an agricultural exemption, and the county allowed it to go through. Neighbors sued. They said, no way, this is a farm. It's an industrial site. Many of the homes are within a quarter mile to 2 miles from it. Anyone who's been there knows the stench and the flies were just terrible. It completely degraded the way of life for homeowners, but both sides eventually settled, and Hickman's agreed to take steps to reduce the smell and the flies. Plaintiffs in that original suit say this latest dispute represents the complaint that they've always had, which is that such a massive operation like this should never have been so close to homes in the first place. And they say this is another example of why.
All right, Joe, thanks. The third and final trial for Lori Vallow